some theories are there, and among which we have a very first, very famous and very remarkable theory led to the foundation for the other theories, and that theory is continental drift theory. Continental drift theory was actually founded, and this theory was actually given by Alfred Wegener in 1912. Alfred Wegener was a he was a German meteorologist and geophysicist. So he thought some sort of credible insights. He provided some sort of, we can say, deep dives on dynamic nature of our earth crust, and this dynamic nature of our earth crust has been compiled or has been postulated in the continental drift theory. In this particular continental drift theory, Wegener, he stated that the continents are keep on moving. Mark my word, continents are keep on moving. So prior to this theory, means till 1912, there was a assumption that the continents are not moving. Continents are permanent. They are not moving. It was Wegener who postulated this particular theory in 1912, and he said that no, the continents are actually moving. Geography is a very new subject. This was the development, let's say, somewhere around 110 years ago, almost. And this is the theory which was propounded 110 years ago. So just imagine, just before the 100 years, what was our level of understanding when it comes to the theory, specifically when it distribution of very new subject, I would say. And yes, you have to be with these theories. Yes, you have to make some sort of analytical aspect when it comes to the flaws in these theories, that what have been justified by these, what not being covered by these theories. However, in slides, our deep insights on that as well. All right. So, like before Wegener, continents were permanent. They were considered immovable, that they are not moving, they are permanent, their position on the crust is fixed, they are not changing. Similarly, Wegener propounded in this continental drift theory that the continents, mark my word, again I am telling you, continents are not fixed, but they are slowly moving, and they are slowly moving over the earth crust, or you can say surface, and they are moving throughout the geological history of our earth. Means from, let's say, since the inception of our earth, these land masses are keep on moving. And Wegener tried to explain the movement of these continents in this particular theory, in this continental drift. Now in this theory, in continental, there was a assumption. The first assumption is what? That the structure of our earth, the interior structure which has been taken as a reference, that structure was actually the chemical composition. However, during that point of time, during 1912, this structure, this was the our level of understanding when it comes to the interior parts of our earth. Regarding the interior parts of our earth, we have this layered wise arrangement, and this layered wise arrangement is being known as chemical composition of our earth's interior, or let's say this kind of layered arrangement is based on chemical composition. However, you have already learned about the crust, mantle and core, that kind of classification also there. So that is the modern classification. That classification is based on the seismic study. Seismic study took place after this 1912, or it was somewhere near to the 1960s, 70s, regarding the plate tectonics theories. After that, we have some sort of clarity about the crust, mantle and core. Before that, regarding the interior structure of our earth, we had this kind of understanding. So we have a crust, then we have a Sial, then we have a Sima, and we have a Nife. So this was the layers of our earth interior. Concentric circles were there. They were called as Sial, that is silica and aluminium. Then we have a Sima, that is silica and magnesium, and then nickel and ferrous. So this was the categorization which has been taken as a reference, as an assumption in this particular theory, because during that point of time, regarding the interior of our earth, this was our, you can say, this was our level of understanding, this was our reference for the earth's structure. So Wegener led chemical composition of our earth's interior, and this chemical composition is being known as Sial, Sima and Nife. Now this Sial is basically, Si stand for silica, Al stand for aluminium. So this Sial is basically crust, uppermost crust layer of our earth, on which the human life is existing, all living form of life existing. Now this uppermost layer is comprised of rocks, those rocks which are dominating with the silica and aluminium, the rocks like quartz, feldspar and mica. So quartz, feldspar and mica were the main attributes, or let's say main kind of rocks which were found in these Sialic layers. Now if we have a more like a insight on this Sial, so the density of these rocks which were found in Sial, or let's say these rocks which were found in Sial, the density was almost 2.9, and the average depth is somewhere from 50 to 300 kilometer. Now I would like to recall the lithosphere as asthenosphere. Now this kind of ideas were not there in this particular kind of interior structure of our. This was based on the major chemicals which are found. However, the modern structure, modern interior structure which we have seen already, crust, mantle and core, that is based on the seismic studies, that is based on the seismic waves studies, and based on that we used to decipher that okay, these layers are solid, liquid and so on. Regarding this, I hope you have a clarity. Now this Sial is basically known as continental blocks on which we have a continents, and it used to said that this Sial is actually floating over the Sima. Sial is actually over Sima. Sima is basically a denser one. So lighter one is Sial because it is comprised of lighter elements, Sial and aluminium, and the denser one is Sima. So Sial is keep on floating over the Sima, and you see the continental crust. So that continental crust is basically Sialic, whereas the oceanic one have been given a part of Sima layer. Moving ahead.